will be a great wrestling podcast, and you can believe in that.
I knew he was going to do it. I knew.
This is OT3.
What is going on, everybody? Welcome back to OT3 episode 42. As always, I'm one of your hosts, Anthony, and I always have the pleasure to sit alongside my two fellow co-hosts. But first, let's go to my co-host and producer, Paul. How you doing tonight, Paul?
I'm doing fine, man. Thanks for having me back.
Having you back. Thanks for having us back. That's what you should be saying. Jeez.
Yeah, I know. It's good to be back. Good to have another OT3 show on the books.
Yes, it's nice. And my other co-host, and still a little under the weather, I think, on his voice, so he's going to do an impersonation. You know it's going to happen. It's happened 41 times. It's going to happen 42 times, so give him a little leeway on what happens here on his voice. Matt, what's going on tonight?
What's going on, Anthony? I am still broken. But I can still delete everyone out there in the land of the ICW because you guys are still morons.
All right, well,
That was
let's talk about Raw tonight. You brought up the Hardys. One of the matches. We're not gonna. We'll start with this little tidbit. We are not going to spoil any matches, finishes. We will talk about what's a non-spoiler breakdown of what's going to happen on Raw, but we won't tell you the outcomes of any of the matches. That's okay. As you see, we're getting our viewers up there. But so we won't do any. We'll do non-spoiling and just kind of talk about what matches will take place. Obviously, the first match that was announced last week that we know about is the Tag Team Turmoil match for the Hardys Raw Tag Team titles, which was a perfect segue with your start that you did there. So let's talk about that. You obviously know Sheamus and Cesaro are in it. And then we have the Golden Truth, Enzo and Cass, Luke Gallows and Carl Anderson, and Rhino and Heath Slater one-man Gore. You got to think the way that they're building Sheamus and Cesaro up to this point, you know, you got to like their odds going into this match. But a team I'm watching is the Golden Truth because they kind of haven't been really used well. So I could see them. I don't think they'll win the match, but I could see them maybe being that team that, you know, comes up last in the match against Sheamus and Cesaro or something like that, just to kind of give you that hope that maybe they're going to swerve everybody. But I expect Sheamus and Cesaro with their new heel turn to be victorious in this match. And I'm expecting another big match from these two teams at Extreme Rules, maybe with maybe a ladder or TLC match in the process between these two. And what do you think? You've pretty much.
Can I talk now?
Jeez, okay.
I think it's gonna be Sheamus and Cesaro. I think they're gonna continue the feud. Obviously, we finally saw a heel turn, which is great. I think Sheamus is perfect as a heel. I think Cesaro, we haven't seen his heel persona in quite, I guess, since he's been a Paul Heyman guy, I guess we can say. So I think this is perfect for them. I can't wait for the Extreme Rules match. I hope it happens. And I hope it's a TLC match. And I hope it's one of the TLC. I think we've had TLC matches where I think it hasn't been, you know, the title. They've had pinfall TLCs and that stupid crap. This needs to be TLC, original style. Hardys invented the match. Needs to be the belt hanging on top of the ring. And I hope the Hardys continue the summer of Hardys, the summer of brokenness, the summer of wonderfulness. Keep it going.
Yeah, no, I'm with you on that. So, like I said, we won't talk too much more. Obviously, the spoilers are out there. We haven't read them in-depthly. We kind of have an idea. That's how we know the matches. But that'll be a match I'm looking forward to seeing tonight when they do the Tag Team Turmoil. Another match that is going to be announced is Braun Strowman versus Kalisto. We won't say what kind of match it'll be, but we will say that match will take place. Another match that'll take place will be The Miz versus, who was it now? Finn Balor. Then you got Dean Ambrose versus Bray Wyatt. Was it Bailey and who was? Do you remember that?
I think it was Nia or something like that. No, it was no. It was
It's a tag team, right?
No. I think it was just Nia versus Mickey, I believe, or something like that.
Okay, yeah, and I think Bailey might have got involved. Yeah, that one.
I'm sorry, Bliss versus Mickey, non-title.
Okay, so that we'll have to see how that. Obviously, Alexa Bliss and Nia Jax have formed some kind of partnership over the last couple weeks, so we'll see how that works out with the two of them and if eventually that leads to a title feud between Alexa Bliss and Nia Jax. And then on the cruiserweight side, you have T.J. Perkins, or as he's known now, TJP, will take on Jack Gallagher. So I don't know if there was. Did we miss any matches?
No, not at all.
I think that was it. Yeah, I don't think we missed any. So that's just some of the matches that I know for tonight. Again, I don't want to go too in depth to that. So we'll see. Obviously, it was taped since it took place in London. So you'll have, if you want to know, you can go up now and you can find the results. But otherwise, wait till 8 and you'll be able to watch it. That the pre-taped Raw that took place a few hours earlier today. So on the SmackDown side, obviously that's going to be taped again tomorrow. No, nothing about that yet as far as what the matches
they haven't said anything about that.
Yeah, nothing has been announced. That'll be taped early again, so spoilers again will be out there despite it being on the live format now, SmackDown, as opposed to how it used to be. But you got to think, we know Backlash now is less than 2 weeks away on the 21st. So we know the title matches. But you got to think Nakamura is going to face Ziggler right now. That's what I'm hearing. Is that right? Okay. You have, obviously, we talked about the title matches for the tag team titles. We know Breezango will face the Usos. You'll have, for the world title, you have Randy Orton versus Jinder Mahal with the what are the I can't even say that. How do you say that? The brothers?
Singh brothers.
The Singh brothers. Yes.
Ooh,
the Singh brothers.
Cares?
I couldn't remember who it was.
Bollywood boys. Who cares?
Yeah, that's the old name, the
Stupid.
Bollywood boys. So you have that, and then the United States title will be on the line, which is the match I think most people are
That'll be the match
looking
tonight.
forward to,
Actually,
which is Kevin
you know what?
Owens.
Nakamura and Ziggler may fight them for match of the night.
Yeah, depending on how this card goes down. But then, like I said, you have the United States. You have Owens and AJ Styles, arguably two of the best today, especially on the SmackDown side.
And we still got to figure out who's going to do the women's match.
You got to figure out. It looks like it'll be Charlotte, but with the way these, with Becky Lynch inserting herself into, helping out on Charlotte and Naomi's side, maybe we get a six diva tag match or 6-woman tag match, and then no title on the line. And what about Baron Corbin? What's Baron Corbin doing for the pay-per-view?
Is he still on SmackDown?
It's unbelievable what they do for this guy. The guy gets built up, and then they do nothing for him. They keep dropping him out. You thought before this superstar shakeup took place that for sure he'd be the Intercontinental Champion out of WrestleMania. Now he's kind of just looks like he's just in limbo, basically, Matt. I mean, would you agree?
Yeah, I mean, he had a great thing with Dean Ambrose, and that kind of went down the drain after, the superstar shakeups. I mean, really, it's just a wait and see. Hopefully, they put him in the world title picture. They're talking about later this year because they want to make him the monster heel of SmackDown. So we'll just have to. I guess it's more of just a waited out type of thing.
Yeah. So I don't.
And what's Sami Zayn doing?
Yeah, exactly. Maybe that's. Oh, you know what? I think that's what's. I'm sorry. I take that back. I feel silly now. Corbin was suspended this past week because he attacked Sami Zayn and then attacked a referee on Talking Smack. So that looks like that match will also take place at Backlash. That just
Who needs that more, Corbin or Zayn?
It's tough, man. I think the feud could be beneficial to both of them, but again, these are guys that both should have won mid-card titles by now. It would have improved, what they're doing there. And, obviously Jinder's in the world title picture, but they're saying at Money in the Bank that the plan, Rusev, said that thing on SmackDown a few weeks back that if he's coming to SmackDown, he wants a world title match.
I think they've already announced that he gets it.
Yeah, I don't know if it's official yet, but that's the word going around. So, I mean, that's two pay-per-views in a row now for SmackDown that you already know who's going to go for the world title. So, I mean, Corbin and Zayn are two guys I think that need to be in the talk all the time for, the title picture, whether they're
isn't that cool? They already know who's going to fight for the world title. Yet on Raw, we still haven't seen our damn champion since WrestleMania. Way to go, Raw. Way to go at making a part-time person a champion that doesn't show up. Wait a minute. Didn't someone, once again, I'm going to mention his name, say this is what's wrong with this company? What was his name? Help me out here. What was that guy's name? I think it was Phil something, Phil Brooks or something like that.
Yes. Are you talking about CM Punk?
Yeah, the same guy who said part-timers ruin the company. Hey, cool, that's fine. That title's not even legitimate. I don't even consider Universal title legitimate anymore. The premier title on that show right now, the tag team titles with the Hardy Boys. They're the premier champion.
The Intercontinental title hasn't even been defended.
Yeah, screw Dean Ambrose. He should have given that title up a long time ago. 30 days are done. You had to defend the title in 30 days. My ass.
So, I know you're not a big
No.
fan of the whole Lesnar as the title, and I agree with you on that. So
You know what
real
Lesnar's
quick-
doing right now? He's doing what he did in UFC. You just hold the title for a year and defend it once a time.
and collecting a paycheck in the
Yeah,
process.
that's all he's doing. He's collecting the damn
When you're a
paycheck.
box office draw, they let you do that.
Yeah, it must be nice.
Yeah, must be, right? But there was something I was going to say when it comes to those titles.
Sorry.
Obviously, no, I just completely, I had it in my, you were saying how, like, it wasn't defended. What do you think could be done? Well, first and foremost, let's announce two things before we get into this, because I feel like this might take a little bit of time that we're about to talk about. When it comes to, dang, I just lost. Okay, so you talking about titles haven't been defended in a while. We now know the UK title will take place, the title match will take place at NXT TakeOver Chicago May 20th, and it'll be between the champion Tyler Bate against
Okay.
Pete Dunne.
Dude, such a douchebag.
Not a
Wait,
fan
what
of either of
title?
them.
What title?
The UK title.
What title's that? Is that even a title in
Again,
WWE?
that's what I'm saying. A title that
Has that
maybe
been defended?
SmackDown could have been using this whole time. Since they have the cruiserweights on Raw, why not put these
You know who
guys on
should be
SmackDown?
champion of the UK title? You know who it should have been? Should be like Jack Gallagher, because actually he shows up once a week.
Yeah, I mean, you're
Sorry.
you're feeling
Sorry.
saucy tonight, it looks
This
like,
was
huh?
a good chance to bring back Wade Barrett. This is what you should have used Drew McIntyre for, was for this title.
Yeah, they could have brought him back with this, yeah.
Good for
I
him.
agree.
He's doing big things on ST. But this title means it's nothing. It's going to be defended at Chicago, and then those guys are going to go back to England.
Hopefully.
Do the independent circuit like they always do, and we'll see this title again next year.
Let's
This
hope.
title means nothing to me.
Let's hope that this is, something to open up for the UK title to be defended more regularly on NXT, since they're going to have the match take place at TakeOver. We can hope, obviously, no guarantee, but that's obviously my hope, is that this title will be taking place more often, at least seeing the champion on NXT, and then even if he doesn't defend the title till the TakeOver, at least seeing him regularly, more than, every quarter? Once every quarter, maybe once a month at least, see him on NXT TV. And there was a couple times where they were having matches with those guys, taking place on NXT TV, but not enough to where you're knowing them. That was the whole point of the
No
UK
one
tournament.
knows
was
this. No one
Exactly.
knows these guys.
You were
Pete
supposed to
Dunne
introduce
looks like
them.
a frat boy who you want to punch, and Tyler Bate is just Tyler Bate.
Yeah, no, I hear you. And that's
And
the thing,
out of our friends, I'm not the only one who hates this, by the way. We've talked about it the other
I know.
day.
I know.
There's only one person that loves his title, and he lives in Philly, which no one cares about.
Oh, here we go. Got to call him
Let's
out.
see.
Every episode, you're calling him out now. Leave the guy alone.
Philly is on the show. I'm calling him out.
He'll be back. He'll come back.
I can't see Sheamus.
So we'll see how that takes place. Obviously, also for NXT officially, I think we've known for weeks, Ember Moon will not be in the match. It's going to be a triple threat between Asuka,
Ruby
Riott,
and Cross.
and yep. So
And then
I think Asuka. We'll talk predictions next week, but I don't see her losing that match anyway. Now let's call that now.
When's this? Holy! I didn't realize this thing was in 2 weeks.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. 2 weeks. Next week we'll already be talking it, and then Then you have the tag team titles in a ladder match, right?
Yep.
Between Authors of Pain and DIY.
Say it how you always say it.
DIY.
There we go.
So
And then-
and
The heavyweight
Go ahead.
title or the NXT championship. We got Bobby Roode against the returning Hideo Itami, which scares the hell out of me because this guy always gets hurt. I'm scared.
oh yeah.
If this guy gets hurt again, he's done.
No, I think that's it.
Yeah.
Yeah, he'll probably have to retire because that's too many injuries that this guy's had since that's what I was saying. He showed up to NXT before Finn Balor even showed up. And look at where all the guys, Finn Balor, Owens.
Him.
Yeah, exactly. That's what I'm saying. And now he's still there, but this is over a year and a half. And he realistically, they actually, you remember, I don't know if you remember, it was the takeover. Took place in Orlando. I can't remember what it was called, but Breeze and Finn Balor fought for the number one contendership at the opening of the NXT takeover event. Itami was supposed to be in that match in a triple threat, and Itami was slated to be the number one contender, but then he got hurt right before the show, like a week or two before, and they had to take him out. And then Finn Balor ended up, taking that and
Rest
going
is
far
history.
with it. Yeah, the rest is history, exactly as they say.
Now, real quick question. Any rumors, anything we've heard, does anyone show up at this takeover in the stands?
I'm hearing, and I'm sure you've heard this too, and it would be awesome. I'm hearing Adam Cole is possible to show up at TakeOver Chicago. I think it would be a perfect time for him to show up because, like me and you've talked about week in and week out, they don't really have that
Heel.
plethora of main event talent right now. McIntyre's just
Now,
starting to
Cole.
come there. Tommy, obviously, he's coming off an injury, but Rude's there. But they lost, most of these guys that were up there in the main event.
Now with Cole, was Cole put into the Bullet Club after AJ and all them left, or before?
I think he was on. I don't think he ever went over to Japan. I think he was the Bullet Club here in ROH. So I think it was after AJ and them.
Okay, so he has no affiliation then with any of them now.
Correct. That's my understanding of it.
Now,
So-
well, he won't be on the main roster now with Cole coming over. You think maybe within a year, maybe we see the butts of youth?
That's the plan. They've always wanted him. The Young Bucks,
Vince wants
Or
him,
like
I think, doesn't
by
he?
other guys like the Hardys vouch for him. AJ
Obviously, the
vouches for
club.
him. The
Now,
club will
here's
vouch
my-
for him.
Here's my big question now that we're talking about Bullet Club members coming over. Big announcement for New Japan Wrestling, speaking of Bullet Club. Kenny Omega will be getting his rematch against Okada, right?
Okada. Sorry, Okada.
Kenny Omega has gone on record to say he wants to come to WWE, but not until he wins the New Japan title. So, segue over to Bullet Club, everything like that, because we love to do segues. Do we see Kenny finally winning that belt? I know we're going completely left field here, but I've just figured, talking about the Bullet Club Young Bucks, might as well talk about the member going for the New Japan title. Does Kenny finally get over the hump and win a major title?
I think Omega finally wins.
What,
Like you
did
said-
watch the first match?
I still haven't seen it now.
Oh my!
I heard it's
I'm gonna-
fantastic. Yes,
sending you
I
that
I'm behind, but I think he finally wins it. That's the one good thing I will say about They don't change their champions often. Their champions are usually champions for a while. It makes for better continuation when it comes to like having a fighting champion. So I think Omega finally gets the win in the rematch though when it takes place.
I need you sometime when you're off to just go watch that match. Better than anything at WrestleMania this year. Vince said he wanted to top it. No match topped that.
No, I figured that.
That match, for the size of him against the size of Omega, the stuff they did with each other was just incredible.
Yeah.
It's incredible what those guys did. Some of the
Yeah.
high flying
For sure.
moves. It's awesome. And
Was
the
it
best
better
part
than
about that,
Styles and Nakamura from the year prior at New Japan? No,
hard to
that
top
was
that,
still
but
better.
close second though.
Okay.
But just the high risk moves they did was just amazing.
Fair enough.
Those guys in Japan are amazing.
No, I believe you. I've seen
saw
some of the work. I
Nakamura.
just haven't watched that match yet, but I've seen some matches, and those guys really put on a good show. So, that'll definitely have to be checked out. I'll definitely check that out. People have been telling me that they're gonna still. People that are watching this that have already told me are probably not gonna like that I haven't watched it still to this day.
That's fine.
But I will definitely get to it. No, it's no more than just you. I've had multiple people tell me you got to see that match. You got to watch it.
I'm
It's one of
sure
the best.
James has told you plenty of times.
Yep, James. A couple of my other friends have told me, so I'll definitely have to check that out soon, sooner rather than later.
So since we're going off a little bit on different promotions, Billy Corgan purchased NWA, which I didn't realize was still a alliance.
Yeah, I didn't realize that either. Yeah.
Maybe he's trying to bring it back up. The Hardys are still in battle with TNA because for some reason they don't want to use a broken character, and I guess TNA just doesn't realize WWE will kill you in terms of legal battles. It's a losing
They have
fight.
more. They have more resources. Yeah, exactly.
They're just holding off. And for Karen Angle to go out and basically at Rebby Hardy, which everyone knows, and say, shut the F up, which is great because Rebby's response was, why don't you hashtag me in it or at me at it? That was great.
Yeah.
It was great.
mean, They need to just,
I said Karen Angle. I mean Karen. Speaking of
Karen
Karen Jarrett, I hope you have fun with your second-rate husband in a second-rate company while your former husband, the guy that I think they said that you cheated on, is making a shit ton of money right now again. Have fun with that.
and he's the Raw general manager and a Hall of Famer.
Have fun
We love
with
having
Jeff
Kurt
Jarrett.
Angle back in WWE. So
Yeah.
have fun
fun with Jeff
at
Jarrett.
Impact Wrestling with the Anthem Owls.
Yeah, that's cool. Have fun working in a 50 capacity Orlando studio. No offense to your Orlando area.
No. Listen, man, and it's not even. That's the thing of it is Impact Wrestling and Anthem when they bought them, as Matt Hardy always says what he calls them the Anthem. Is it the Anthem Owlmen or something like that?
F
Right?
the Owls is what he's saying.
At the Owls, yeah. Okay, so
F the Owls.
he is right. This is TNA and Impact Wrestling. They know they're not going to compete with WWE, right? So why do they continuously try to do more and more like stuff like this? Like, oh, we're going to pull the Hardy name from them, like to try and get at the WWE. They're not going to, they're not going to flinch. They're just going to continue to push forward, and they'll be like, we'll get it from them eventually. They're not sweating it, They're not continuing to go after them on Twitter, or anything like that. And that's the one thing I'll give Jeff Jarrett. He doesn't get into those kind of like, bickering matches with anybody. He kind of just does what he has to do and does his thing. And Impact slowly but surely is making little changes since Anthem bought them with, additions of some of the acquisitions they've got. They got Chris the Masterpiece, obviously known by a different name now. They got Magnus back. Matt Morgan's back. They have Alberto El Patron. They have Matt Sydal now, formerly known as Evan Bourne in the WWE. So they're making little by little changes again. Now, the thing is that they've always done is they've done changes, but they don't continue to push forward on them. They make these changes, and then a month later, it's like, didn't that guy return last month? What happened to him? And they have the talent there already with EC3, with Bobby Lashley, a plethora of other guys.
Speaking of TNA guys, Crazy Steve is posted rumor now to come to WWE.
And I've heard a couple of guys.
I think they said join, was it Sanity, I believe? His name has popped up with Sanity?
That's a question. Speaking of that, where's Sanity been on NXT? What's their feud right now?
Maybe they'll show up at TakeOver.
I know Roderick Strong and him still have a little something going.
Maybe we'll see them interfere in the ladder match. Maybe we'll see Eric Young show up in the title match afterwards.
Yeah, no, hopefully.
That's something NXT hasn't done yet, where someone's been attacked afterwards in a while, since Kevin Owens.
In a while. Yeah, it's been a minute.
Kevin Owens killed Sami Zayn in front of your guys' eyes.
Yeah.
That was a great
geez, yeah, that was the first time I've ever seen that. Like when they did that power, because now it's a little more, you see it more often. When I first saw that, I was like, oh my God. Like seriously, people were legitimately scared. They didn't know what just happened with Sami Zayn getting powerbombed like that in the apron. But, like I said, that's the thing about NXT. It keeps it fresh. So maybe Adam Cole shows up. Maybe a couple of these matches have some different outcomes, and we see some new people starting to show up. There was.
I guess we can move to Nets. Oh, go ahead. I'm sorry.
I want to just announce real quick because we talked about him before when you said who's the one that said all this. Matt, myself, through a couple other things, we thought about it over and over, and I still don't feel like this. We're not like 100% sure in how we got to the solution. It sucks because we know a lot of you voted for both of these guys in the candidates for the awards. We're gonna go with the finals. It's going to be CM Punk versus The Rock for the.
Congrats to Jeff Hardy though for making it all the way to.
Jeff Hardy, it was tough,
but it was tied. Anthony had the final vote. Anthony went with CM Punk. Nothing to Jeff Hardy from Anthony. CM Punk was just he was CM Punk.
To me, CM Punk was more not like he said, nothing against Jeff Hardy. I think Jeff Hardy is a fantastic, but I think when you talk about what they did for professional wrestling as a whole, CM Punk did more iconic when it comes to, the pipe bomb and really changing the way indie guys were looked at. He really changed the whole evolution of why these other guys are here now from NXT and on the main roster now, like guys like Finn and Kevin Owens and Sami Zayn and AJ. I mean, he really opened the door for the WWE to give these guys a shot. Now, don't get me wrong. I'm not saying he's better than them in the ring. I'm just saying that what he did to me makes him one of the greatest, of that generation. And that's why I think a lot of people also had him this far in the into the conversation.
The poll is up. I just posted it. The poll is up. I just posted Jeff Hardy versus CM Punk. Okay. Ignore that poll.
You voted Jeff Hardy. I mean, do you want to put Jeff Hardy versus CM Punk up for 3 days?
No,
you want to make that call? No? Okay.
No.
All right. So that poll will be up at some point. I know a little off topic, but I see Jamar wrote us in the chat there. Now that The Undertaker is gone, this is a good question, man. I want to ask you, too, because I'm really not sure. Now that The Undertaker is gone, who is the next person to win WrestleMania that many times in a row? Do you think there's someone on the roster right now that could have that kind of run? And they could have already lost the match, but saying like maybe the next 5 or 6 in a row.
You know what? You know who I just realized I think is undefeated? No, never mind. He lost to Randy Orton. Crap.
We're going to say
I was going to say Seth.
Yeah, but he lost to Orton.
That's his only loss.
Yep.
God, no. There's no one.
Do you see maybe Roman going on a run? Because he's what? He's at 2 in a row now, right? No, I'm not saying
Yeah,
that's
but
what I'm
he
saying. They
lost.
could have already lost, but do you see maybe Roman winning 5 more in a row before he loses again? He lost. When did he lose? Oh, when they cashed in,
The
right?
triple threat.
When he cashed in. That's the only time he's lost, though, right? And then Rollins, the only time he lost was that night.
Yes.
So Roman has won the last 2 pay-per-views, right? Against Triple H and against The Undertaker. Do you think Roman? What about Braun Strowman? I mean, yes, he's got eliminated in the Battle Royal, but do you see him maybe going on a singles, tear?
Not Lesnar,
It's
maybe?
tough.
I don't know.
I'm going to go with Roman Reigns. I don't think anyone is ever going to match that 25, 25, what was it, 24-2?
Yeah,
Or
something like
23-2.
that.
So
Something like that.
no one's ever going to get to 21-0. I don't think anyone's ever going to get to 10-0 again. That's just, I don't think there's ever going to be that kind of superstar that's going to ever take place in the WWE like that. But I think as far as someone going on like a 5 or 6 WrestleMania streak and winning in a row, I think Roman Reigns is the guy that'll do that. He's currently at 2. And all signs are pointing that at WrestleMania 34 that he will face Brock Lesnar again for the title in the main event. So if that happens, I see Roman finally getting that one-on-one rematch and winning the title without any Money in the Bank cash in. So good question, though, Jamar. Thank you for that. Yeah, but I will definitely say that if anyone's going to do it, it's going to be Roman that pushes it. So before
I agree
we,
with you. I agree.
yeah, that's it. No one really else.
Maybe Finn, depending on what kind of streak. Depends on what kind of start Finn gets.
I would have said Charlotte from the women's, but she just obviously lost this past match. I would have thought she would have been someone
Yes.
else that might have went on a run as well. So before we go tonight, one
Chris,
thing I want to talk
Our
about.
co-host from Shipe Sports Talk said, "No one ever."
Yeah, I agree with
Yeah.
him. No one's going to match the 21. I think someone might go on a run, but they'll never do 21-0 again. You'll never see it again. Me
And
personally, that's my
Jamar
opinion.
also said that Dallas is going to put the smackdown on the Giants this year.
Yes, I saw, and then he said he's going to hit the Giants with the DDT. I saw.
Nice.
He knows. We have nice conversations at work about it. Well, I'm sure we'll be talking about the Cowboys and the Giants tomorrow at work again. But last thing before we sign off, I had an idea. I read a little bit like an idea of how to keep the title relevant, the Universal title. I know you hate it. You don't want to really talk about it. But what do you think about,
You say-
obviously, and I'm
Say
going to
an
say,
interim champion. I'm going to come.
no interim champion.
Okay.
Can I say a little bit of a spoiler? It's not really a match result, but it kind of has to do with an injury. Or do you think I should wait?
Well, I mean, it's all over the internet that he's hurt.
All right. Braun Strowman is injured legitimately. They're saying he's going to be out 4 to 8 weeks. So that's going to kind of change the way his feud with Roman was supposed to end at Extreme Rules. So that kind of leaves Roman open now for a new feud. What do you think, Matt, if to keep this title relevant, they start a tournament to crown the number 1 contender for the Universal title? And
that's
at
fine.
Extreme Rules, the number 1, they have the final match, or whatever it be. Or they do like maybe 2 matches that night, the final 4, and then the final 2, whoever win those matches, are the main event of the night and compete. Similar to how they did at Survivor Series before, where they were crowning a new champion with Roman and Dean Ambrose, and then whatchamacallit got involved, Sheamus, and cashed in after Roman had won. But do you think that'll help, help the title keep kind of known?
That could work for me. I can work with that.
And it helps the feuds that are going on right now. It kind of helps them like move past it. Like, hey, you know what? Roman and Braun, we're going to move past it. He's injured. So instead of it just being like Roman has nothing, you put him into this tournament. Finn and Seth, instead of it being like, I deserve it more because I was the last Universal Champion. Well, I deserve it more because I never lost the title. It's like, let's put you guys in matches and you guys will determine who the number 1 contender is.
That could work for me.
Or even a 6-pack challenge. It doesn't, it doesn't have to be a tournament.
I like the tournament. I'll take the tournament.
I prefer the tournament. That's what I'm saying. And I read, the tournament idea. Someone said it, but there's never guarantees with what they'll do. But I think that'll help Extreme Rules too, because, you're not going to have the world title, like you said. You're going to have the Intercontinental title, defended hopefully. But, if they do something like that, they'd probably put Ambrose in the tournament. So we'll have to see how that breaks down.
Real quick before we head out, Jamar asks, who's the greatest wrestler never to win a title?
To never win the world title?
I guess, yeah. We'll go with that.
Oh, man. That's tough. Mr. Perfect comes to my head right away. Razor Ramon, another guy that comes to my, or Scott Hall, as you might know him from WCW. There's a lot of people, man. John Morrison, if you count the ECW world title, I won't say the greatest. I'll say
about
of
Matt
the
Hardy?
modern. I was gonna say of the modern era, for what Matt Hardy's done now, I think that's crazy. That he never did. Same thing with like Bully Ray, you could say. But I think if you're talking like some of the greatest of all time, right away, I think the first three I think of are Mr. Perfect, Razor Ramon, Roddy Piper, and even Rick Rude. I would throw in there as four people right away that pop in my head like they never won a world title, that should have won a world title. There's a couple other people, like I said, right off the top of my head. I'd have to think about that a little more in depth, but yeah, no, that's a good. You got some good questions coming at us tonight. What do you think, Matt? Who do you got?
Man, it's so hard to think. I'm trying to think about who's never won.
Yeah, world title, because they've
so
won
hard to think.
intercontinental titles. They've won, the European, the United States.
I mean, if you went off of current before February, you almost had to say Bray Wyatt for current before.
If we're talking about greatest wrestlers of all time, not necessarily. Don't count the new generation in the WWE
like
right
Piper, Mr. Perfect, Rude, all of them. Yep.
What do you think about? I'm gonna throw his.
I was gonna say Hatsaw.
Okay, he's the first ever Royal Rumble winner. You know,
he didn't even get a title shot. Bullcrap.
No, I agree with you on that. What about there was someone else I was gonna say, and I can't remember who it was now. It'll come back to me, I'm sure. Wait, man, what was the name of the guy I was just about to say to you? I hate when I just blanked. I blanked on that one. I really don't have it. I don't know who it was. So you got no.
How could we forget? Now I can't think of his name. Santino. Why did he never win?
You're not talking about Santino Marella, are you?
Yes. What about Eugene?
Stop it. Stop.
Has Vince ever won the title or Shane?
Yeah, Vince has won the title. Vince has. Shane never has. Vince won multiple times. Yeah, he won the Royal Rumble.
Shane needs to win. Give Shane the title. Pete Rose.
Oh my God.
Hey, your microphone cut off.
I know, that's why I talk, but then you say stuff like that, and I'm like, I can't let this guy go off like this. I can't believe you just said Pete Rose, Eugene, and Santino Marella. After you mentioned names like Razor Ramon.
Actually, I do have a good one for you, though.
What do you got?
Bobby Lashley.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. If you don't count the ECW title, then you have to talk about him.
Fruit did win. He won one in WCW.
I don't think he did either.
I don't think
Fruit ever did.
Fruit won the WCW.
Macho Man was a world champion before. Guillermo, I see, put Macho Man ? He was the world champion. He did win the world title. I don't remember what WrestleMania it was, but I know he definitely... Are you looking that up right now by any chance, Matt?
I'm trying to right now.
As you see, you have a fan in there. Jamar as a fan in what you just said and saying Pete Rose. Yes, he said.
Yes.
What about someone like Goldust? What do you think about? Do you think he ever should the world? Okay,
he's a mid-card guy to me. I'm sorry.
You don't go to. That's what I'm saying. I don't necessarily. That's one thing. I agree with you on that. A lot of people always say, "Oh, well, he was around for 20 years." Just because you were in the business for 20 years doesn't mean you should get a world title. You know. So I would agree with you on that. For sure. There's some other people I know we're gonna miss people, and after the show we're gonna read and we're gonna be like, "Oh man, how did we forget that guy?" Obviously, I agree. Like I said, with pretty much everyone we just said, I think to me though, Roddy Piper, I'm shocked he never was a world champion with how much, he was in the first main event at WrestleMania, things of that nature. But Mr. Perfect to me was there you go, another Hacksaw. Now Hacksaw wrote down as well. But to me, I think that Mr. Perfect. I lose you?
Sorry, I was taking an important call from our producer.
Okay, no problem. Just want to make sure. I thought I lost you. Am I not hearing you? But I think Mr. Perfect to me is the one that should have been the world champion that never won it. I think between his character, the way he performed in the ring, it literally was perfect. It was perfect.
What about can't think of anyone else, to be honest with you. That's about all I can think of.
Do you think of any of the women that never won the title? I can't think of any off the top of my head.
I think they've all won it. I think all the important people actually won think about it, I think every single lady wrestler has won that title.
That I could think of, yeah, that should have,
Do Do you think Umaga should have ever won the world title at one point?
I think Umaga was on the, the what's the word I'm looking for? On target to get to that point.
Okay.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So, another guy we didn't even mention, and I just thought, see, I told you, there's people. British Bulldog, never won the world title. British Bulldog, Arn Anderson, another guy. What about George the Animal Steel? Never won either, huh?
Nope.
And what about the greatest Intercontinental Champion of all time, in his words, the Honky Tonk Man?
The Honky Tonk Man.
And
Steamboat.
Jake the Snake Nick Roberts never won it.
Ricky
Steamboat.
So let's go on and on.
And you know what? I knew I was Rikishi, another guy from more currently. I think Ricky Steamboat did win it. If I'm not mistaken.
Never won.
No, Ricky Steamboat. I think he. And then also another big name that we missed that I knew he never won it. He only had the $1 million. Ted DiBiase never won it. Remember, he got the title. He tried to take it from Andre the Giant when he won it, and then held the $1 million title. But he's another guy that never won.
Rey Mysterio did win. I'm sorry, he won several times.
Yeah, Rey Mysterio was the champion. He came from number 2 in the Rumble actually one year.
And he also won that one Rumble match, but he lost it 2 hours later to John Cena.
Oh yeah, I remember that. Yeah.
When who came back that night? The best in the world.
Punk?
Look at that segue all the way to CM Punk. Guy's the greatest superstar of all time.
Well, we're gonna see.
That's gonna wrap it for us. What do you think?
Yes, I think it is. And Guillermo also was another guy I saw. William Regal was another one I saw. And we mentioned Jake the Snake. Yep, Roberts. I agree with those. There's a lot, like I said, that we missed just off the top of my head immediately. Mr. Perfect's that guy for me always. So thanks for the questions tonight. Definitely keep those up for the future. Well, we always like when we can interact throughout the show like that, keeps us on our toes of maybe not necessarily having the answers right in front of us. So, yeah, I think that'll pretty much do it. Like Matt said, too, check out the Twitter poll. It will be up. It's going to be The Rock versus CM Punk for the greatest of all time. Again, this is not necessarily...
Right there.
Over there. You can see the Twitter over there, yeah. And again, this is not necessarily how mine and Matt would have broken down who the greatest of all time was. This was just a way to see what everyone else thought was the greatest of all time. And this is the final two that you have from the 2000s to now, and then from the 1990s and prior. So The Rock and CM Punk are your finals. So let's see how those votes, and we'll be here next Monday to tell you about it. Paul, I'm going to hand it off to you.
Thank you, sir. Thanks, everybody, for watching. Thanks, everybody, for your questions and your interest in the show. We appreciate it a lot. Don't forget to subscribe to us on our social medias. It's at OT3 Podcast 1 on Twitter. Facebook / Off the Top Turnbuckle on Facebook. If you're watching on the Facebook now, you know what you should do? You should go over to our YouTube channel. Subscribe, hit the like button, and all that good stuff. It'll help out the show so much, and it would make Matt and Anthony smile and very happy and blush a little bit too if you smash that subscribe button. But thanks everybody for watching and tuning in. We appreciate it, and I'm sure we'll see you next week.
Yes, we will. Real quick before we sign off, I want to say a special thanks to Chris, Guillermo, and Jamar. Thank you very much. Jamar especially, I saw it tonight you had some questions. Guillermo, I know you've asked them in the past, so please feel free to ask some questions to us throughout the show like that, and feel free to enter in your opinion as well and tell us who you think necessarily. So thank you very much for that tonight. We definitely
Chris.
Enjoyed that.
Wolfpack for life, Chris.
Wolfpack for life. That's right.
No, you're not in the group. It's just me and Chris. You need to get out of there.
Actually, I'm in the Wolfpack, my friend.
No, you're not. Sorry.
Then you're not on my show.
Sorry.
You dig? So, last thing before we go, we'll be back next Monday. Again, we'll talk finals. But Thursday this week, we will do the What is Baseball segment of our Shipe Sports Talk show on Thursday night. We also will be talking a little bit, I'm sure, of the hockey and basketball playoffs, since we're getting down to it, and both DC teams right now, today, are still in. But by the end of the night, we might not have one of them still in if the Capitals lose tonight.
You stop that.
Or by Wednesday,
we're gonna delete the Penguins.
Or by Wednesday, if you let me finish, Mr. Wolfpack over there, the Wolfpack of one is all you're in. But that's about that. That's another story for another time. by Wednesday, we might be talking a whole nother tune, and the Capitals might have eliminated the Penguins. And Thursday night, we might have a very happy couple co-hosts in Matt, Paul, and Chris if their DC team did it. But highly unlikely they beat the Penguins.
I hope we delete Crosby tonight again.
We'll see. And don't talk about it. Don't say that, man. Don't do that. We're not gonna. On a more positive note, I want to say thank you again for watching. It's always a pleasure. We will see you again. The Capitals just score?
Yeah, they did.
All right, are they 1-0?
Yes. I need to get out of here.
Yep. Well, there you go. So the Capitals scored. It's 1-0. Good luck to the Capitals. For all you sports fans out there, good luck to your teams in hockey and basketball playoffs, and of course, baseball season's going on. We're early on, but good luck to all the teams out there. Enjoy Raw tonight. Enjoy SmackDown. We'll be back next Monday. Paul, Crazy Talk Wednesday?
Crazy Talk Wednesday.
Crazy Talk on Wednesday. So it's a busy week for Paul. So catch Paul Wednesday night on Crazy Talk. He does an awesome thing over there with him and a couple of his friends, so definitely check that out. And then Thursday night, we'll see you for Shipe Sports Talk. And then back next Monday for OT3. I know I was rambling, but a lot of stuff's going on, and we're excited. Have a great night, everybody. Thanks for watching.
See ya.
Delete, 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 delete.